All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's becoming very difficult to cover everything that's happening between Krafton, the Subnautica 2 game, and the leadership that was fired from this particular game by Krafton recently. Now we have another update, and I know I've been releasing updates damn near every day at this point, but when I say news is moving fast with this particular game, it's moving extremely fast. So apparently Krafton is now blaming the former leadership for all the problems that the game is having and are claiming that the former leadership had abandoned their responsibilities completely. And that is the reason why they got fired. This is going to become a very scathing story. I don't think we've seen the end of this at all. But let me catch you guys up really quick before we get into the rest of the story. So if you guys remember, or if you don't remember, Krafton, the publisher behind Subnautica 2, has finally responded to the concerns and claims circulating regarding the state of the game and recent leadership changes at its developer Unknown Worlds and the reported $250 million payout planned for developers later this year. In a scathing email sent specifically to Insider Gaming, Krafton says that the former leadership, which is Charlie Cleveland, Max McGuire, and Ted Gill at the studio, abandoned the responsibilities entrusted to them, leading to their dismissal. They said Subnautica 2 was originally planned for an early access launch in early of 2024, but the timeline had since been significantly delayed, the Korean-based publisher said. Krafton made multiple requests to Charlie and Max to resume their roles as game director and technical director, respectfully, but both declined to do so. In particular, following the failure of Moonbreaker, Krafton asked Charlie to devote himself to the development of Subnautica 2. However, instead of participating in the game development, he chose to focus on a personal film project. Oh, man. See, here's the thing. I remember saying about 2 videos back that once we found out that the developers got fired, like the head of the studios got fired, once we found that out, I told you guys something was missing. I told you that there has to be a major part of the information that is missing for us to get the full context of the entire story, because this is going to be extremely scathing. And I said that there was going to be more that was going to come out. It was only a matter of time. These developers can't be making all these claims about Krafton, and Krafton was never going to respond. Of course they were going to respond. They were biding their time, and they were waiting to get the right moment to respond with everything. But I got to tell you, with all the drama that's happening with this game, the people behind the game anyway, what's happening to the game? Like, is anybody talking about the game? If you look at the Steam forums, which we're going to look at in a second, if you look at the Steam forums, it's a madhouse over there. Right? Everybody's taking sides. You got people saying they're unwishless in the game. You got people calling for a boycott of the game. I'm not kidding. We have another article here literally talking about that. Subnautica 2 boycott started by community after Krafton layoffs. People are not happy about what's going on with this game. But in any case, let's continue. So apparently he decided to work on his own film project, whatever that was. And the statement continued that Krafton believes that the absence of core leadership has resulted in repeated confusion in direction and significant delays in the overall project schedule. Now, according to the developers that got fired, they said that this game is ready for early access now, like right now. They're saying that the game is ready for early access now. Krafton is saying that the game is not ready until 2026, and magically it's not ready until next year, where they don't have to pay out the $250 million. So obviously that is major sus, but regardless, it is what it is. Let's continue. So regarding the reported $250 million payout, Krafton says that they had dedicated 90% of the earn out to 3 former executives. That payout was set with the expectation that they would demonstrate leadership and active involvement in the development of Subnautica 2. So 90% of that $250 million payout was going to go to the 3 former executives that Krafton themselves fired. 10% was going to go to the team, and 90% was going to go to 3 executives. $250 million to 3 executives is insane. But anyway, despite the changes on the top of the company, Krafton says it's dedicated to creating the best game it can for its players. That means making the decision to delay Subnautica 2 early access into 2026. Subnautica 2 has been and continues to be actively developed by a dedicated core team who share genuine passion, accountability, and commitment to the game. They said, we deeply respect their expertise and creativity and will continue to provide full and unwavering support, enabling them to focus solely on delivering the exceptional game that you deserve. So, okay, this is a little bit weird to me, right? This is a little bit strange to me. One side is saying that the game is ready. The other side is saying the game is not ready. One person is financially motivated to make sure that the game is not ready, while the other side is not necessarily financially motivated, or I should say, they're more so financially motivated to make sure the game is ready. Right. So Krafton would save a lot of money if the game got delayed to 2026. The developers that got fired, they would have made a lot of money if they ensured that the game released in 2025. So you can look at this one of two ways. You could look at this that Krafton is being greedy by delaying an already ready game into 2026 to avoid payout, or the developers are being greedy, the executives are being greedy because they're trying to release a game that's not ready in order to get a $250 million payout. This can honestly go either way, and I don't know whose story I'm believing more, but I will say I'm less inclined to believe Krafton. Just based off their previous history, I'm less inclined to believe them, but somebody's lying about this for sure. This is one of the interesting stories that I think I've ever covered in a long time, because this is like playing Clue, trying to figure out who's the ultimate liar here, who's the murderer in this situation. Either way, the only people that are going to lose out are probably going to be the players, because the gameplay is going to get affected, right? I feel like the game itself is most likely going to be affected by this internal drama that's happening right now. Sure, they fired those 3 developers, but I don't think that's going to be the end of it. And I know they hired a bunch of new people, but the people they hired, a lot of people do not like, right? So things are looking pretty crazy here. Krafton adds that it's committed to fairly compensating all the employees who are still at Unknown Worlds who have continuously and tirelessly contributed to Subnautica 2's development. We believe that dedication and effort of this team are at the very heart of Subnautica's ongoing evolution, and we reaffirm our commitment to provide the rewards that they were promised. They said. Now, again, they were only promised 10%. So if you take 250 million and 10% of that, that's probably what they're going to give to the development team if they are able to release this game properly and hit certain goals in 2026. They're not going to give them $250 million. A lot of that money, 90% of it was for executives. So they're going to give it to the new CEO they got hired. I guarantee you that CEO that got hired, part of the pay plan that was offered to him was, hey, if you help us release this game, you will get 90% of this $250 million bonus. And it's not going to go to the 3 people that got fired. So clearly they butted heads and things are pretty ugly, to the point where now they're calling for a boycott on Subnautica 2. And like I said, over on Steam forums, people have taken their sides, right? You got a couple of threads here. How many of us have unwishlisted the game, right? The OG creators are a joke for abandoning their game. Now it seems like people are starting to turn on the OG developers, because in the beginning, they were all for defending them. Now they're like, oh, these people are a joke for abandoning the game, et cetera, et cetera. This person says, looks like Reddit Brigade is on full force today. Guess this is going to be like this for the next couple of months. Remember, guys, defend the corporate employees who definitely had your best interests at heart. Not like they were off doing their own projects and failed at every one of them, right? Oh, man. Posted this thread. If you're still going to buy the game, beware. Liars, all of you. Y'all said Subnautica 2 is on track for 25, and now you turn your words around and say it's delayed. I expect better from y'all. Ignored and removed from the wish list. Full Krafton response. Bro, it's just crazy. Wish list removal check, just in case you know this is not. Woke this is Subnautica 2. Nobody's even talking about that right now. So let's talk about the boycott. So the boycott is looking pretty interesting right now. If you scroll down, it says that the message is strong and clear. The publisher Krafton, this isn't a thread on subreddit, by the way. This isn't a subreddit. The message is strong and clear. The publisher Krafton has fired all 3 original founders of Unknown Worlds and delayed the game to 2026, so the devs would have received $250 million in bonuses. Do not support these shady business practices. Do not buy Subnautica 2. It's accepted in the community that by delaying Subnautica 2's early access, this stunts the company's ability to reach the $250 million payout target. Judging from some of the comments I've seen in the Reddit thread, this boycott is likely going to be supported by many. So I don't know what's going to go down, honestly, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is going to be a situation where we're going to have to wait and see what's going to happen. But I will say this. I don't think this is the end of the story. I don't think that this is where it's going to die off. I think we are going to end up finding out more and more as time goes on. The amount of things that have been leaking right now in the gaming industry is insane. Everything has been leaking. And it's only a matter of time before the information and the truth about what happened here gets leaked. Somebody's going to speak. I don't know who it's going to be, but somebody is going to speak. And when they do, if that's going to show us who is really the one that is doing bad here. Is it the original OG developers? They wanted to rush the game out there for $250 million payout? Or is it Krafton who wanted to avoid paying $250 million? So they delayed the game to 2026 and they fired the people who were trying to stop that from happening. Either way, this is a wild story and we're going to keep following it. So let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about all this nonsense? Which side are you on? Are you on any particular side? Or do you think they're all fucked and the gamers are going to be the ones who are going to end up getting the short stick? Whatever that may be, leave a comment, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.